Welcome back to The Reset, episode 37 with me, Sean Tucker. Are you at the cause or the effect of your own life? So many people right now are living at effect of the world that's going on around. They can't be at cause because what's happening outside of them is affecting them. And I would strongly invite you to sit with this idea that I want to share with you today. Being at cause means that you can cause your life to be in a certain way. Living at cause means that you can control how you show up emotionally, how you show up, how you wake up, actually. Not only how you show up, but how you wake up in any kind of moment that you are in your day-to-day life. So living at effect, on the other hand, this means that external situations, what's happening with the Middle East, similar maybe what happened a number of years ago when things got quite out of control worldwide on a global level with the pandemic. When we live at the effect of something else or someone else, our state is very vulnerable. What I'm talking about is our emotional state is quite vulnerable. What happens when your emotional state is vulnerable means that mentally you're not as sharp. Physically, you're probably lethargic and maybe even feeling a little bit lost or depressed or even really just uncertain. And when you're in those certain situations, uncertain times, the effects it has on the physical body are like what I mentioned. You have low energy, you're not feeling as capable, you might even be feeling frustrated or pissed off at the world. You might see that the rising cost of fuel prices are really starting to hurt your pocket. Right? All of these things are still happening outside of you. And what's really important to understand is that no one can control that place of cause except you. Cause, you are the one who perceives or has a perception or perspective of what's happening in the real world. Having a human being as a vehicle, you are the human being. You have the vehicle of interpreting what is really happening. And it's not to say that this is what's happening to the world and you're living in denial. No, it's not coming from a place of ignorance, but it's coming from a place of not knowing. And fact of the matter is, we don't really know what's happening in any circumstance, in any conclusion that we've drawn. .999% of an atom is empty space. So how can we really know what's happening in the world when most of the world is empty space? And I use that as an example because what the media shows, what your social media feed shows, is only one perspective of what's really happening. And that's still happening outside of you. The only one thing you have control over is how you perceive what's happening within yourself, how you respond to it. And if you're responding in a way that's quite fear-based, uncertain, and you really are banking on certainty because you've built all of these assets and things, and a lot of it is going up in the air, and you're like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't know my social status. I don't know if I'm going to have a job. Right now, we're living in times where there's war. There's also this AI revolution happening within big industries, right? Thousands and tens of thousands of people are losing their jobs because AI is taking it. Who designed the AI systems? We did, right? It's not them versus us. It's us versus us. And if we don't innovate, if we don't allow ourselves to see the problem clearly and be able to not even provide a solution, but sit with the problem, we're always going to be at effect of what happens around us. And I reflect on my journey of running a business and knowing where I've been successful in the past and knowing where I've failed many times. Where I have failed, I have learned my biggest lesson. But at the time, I was absolutely at effect of those losses, those failures, because I made it mean that that was who I was. I am a failure. And being a failure means that I'm not good enough to succeed. Can't be that overnight success that everyone wants to be. Truth is, the greatest winners are the ones who have won probably way less times than they've lost. They've lost way more times than they've won. It's just their resilience, their ability to stand back up again when they've been beat down, get back up and fight the good fight, the fight that means something to them. And if you care about your humanity, if you care about being of service to the world, right now there are a lot of people struggling. There's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a hell of a lot of people that aren't coping very well. Maybe now's the time to actually ask your friend, ask your mate, ask your neighbor, are you going okay? Is there anything I can do to help? Because when times become very uncertain, people panic. People panic because they're living at the effect of what's happening around them. For those of you who are doing their best to live at cause, meaning they're in charge of their own life, not they've built a life and now they're so certain in their identity because they have all these assets and things that hold them in a place of security or certainty. Nothing is certain. Life could end right now. You could hear this as your last word, and that's it. You could die. The fact that we think we're going to live forever, that's one of the biggest letdowns of humanity. The fact that you think you're going to live forever, even though you know it's not true, but it's the point that you know that everyone around you is going to die, but somehow you're going to live. This is what holds people back. Not only from living a life that they want to live, but actually from being real with themselves and actually being real with what they want. Because what they want is probably to let themselves be who they really want to be. I know that is for me. So if you're listening to this episode and you're wondering, what the hell is this guy talking about? What is this Gronk talking about? If you're scared, I'm talking to you. If you're feeling a little bit hopeless, if you're not sure how you can, I guess, be certain of the person that you're creating, I'm talking to you. Because that person's not actually real. The person you're creating has no guarantee that they're going to be living in this next moment. Once we give up control over who we think we are, and who we think we're becoming, we actually start changing into the person we've always wanted to be. It's our resistance to it and our forcing of the change that actually holds us back. So if you want to start living at cause rather than the effect of the world that's going on around you, maybe, just maybe, stop forcing yourself to change and instead allow it. Because being at cause means that you have full control over your state and you can perceive and love yourself unconditionally so that you can actually move forward and stop living in the past. So if you found today's episode helpful, remember, share it with one person, and I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's episode. Thanks for tuning in.